Hey, friends. Welcome back to Strength Happens. Last week, we talked about how caregiving impacts our relationships, marriage, friendships, siblings, all of it. And if you missed that one, make sure to go back and listen because it really sets the stage.
And this week, we're digging into something that sounds great on paper, but feels impossible in real life: self care.
Yeah, the word alone kind of makes me laugh out loud some days because,
Self
who has
care,
time for self care? But sure, after I fold that 20 loads of laundry, get to all of Morgan's appointments,
especially this week for
and,
you.
and just talk the girls down from whatever crisis they're dealing with.
But here's the thing, we're not going to be talking about spa days. We're talking about real self care. And that's what I hope we can kind of discuss today, that kind that keeps you from completely burning out, the kind that's simple, doable, and doesn't come with guilt attached, but also that kind that puts yourself as a priority and really focuses on you as a human being and as a caregiver.
Well, I like a really good spa day, though.
You and me
It
both.
does kinda refresh me, I will admit.
Hey, I'm not saying those are out of the picture. I'm just saying, once a month, once a year, once every 5 years in my case, you're better about self care than I am, I think, sometimes. Like, you'll do things to go get your nails done
I do, I try to carve out time for those type of things, but within reason, because it can get pricey.
yeah, it is.
Like, I don't know why self-care feels so hard to do and accomplish.
It really does. I think for me, there's a couple things that make self care pretty hard. One is guilt. I have been at home recovering from surgery for 4 weeks and I go back to work next week. But I feel so guilty that I can't help out around the house. And even though I should be taking care of myself after major surgery, I still have that guilt of, oh, everybody else is doing for me. And I think that's a really hard thing to let go of because I feel like there's other people who need to be taken care of. Even though my kids are grown, I still want to be there for them and still support them. So when I put the priority on myself, even when it's a necessity, I feel a lot of guilt.
And
Um,
that's so crazy.
isn't that crazy?
It is crazy.
I literally had surgery 4 weeks ago, and I had put that surgery off for 2 years. I was supposed to have it December of 2023. We ended up moving out out of state, and so I had to find new doctors and everything, and I remember last year I was talking to a colleague over the summer, and I was like, "Hey, I have to have hysterectomy and endometriosis surgery." She's like, "Oh, I have a great doctor who specializes in that. Here's his name and number," and I was like, "Okay." But then I get into work, and it's my busy season in the summer getting ready for college students arriving to campus, and somewhere in the fall, I
Mhm.
get a call on my cell phone from the surgeon, and he's like, "Hey, you were recommended to me. You haven't made an appointment with me. What's going on?" And I was like, "Oh my god, thank you for calling. You're right." He goes, "My assistant is gonna call you and set up an appointment today." And so that assistant called that day and set up an appointment for December, and I had my intake, and I had to have more testing and all this, and then finally we had the surgery in August. And if he hadn't called me, I probably would have delayed it even more,
Why
but
is that? Like,
I
why do
don't
we
know.
do that?
I
Because I
don't
know for me, if I'll have a list of things I have to do, but it's really that office calling me and saying, "Hey, we got a referral." That makes me
Yes.
do it.
Yes, I don't know why I don't put myself as that priority, and I think of
Yeah.
things if a doctor had told me one of my children needed a major surgery, I would have been researching the best surgeons in the area, been doing
Right.
this, that, and the other, and it would have been on the books as soon as possible. But when it comes to myself, I don't know why. I and
Yeah.
maybe our listeners can help me figure this
Yeah, I
out.
don't I know, because I do the same thing, and I don't know why we do that. Like, I don't know if it's just because 'cause we're exhausted from I don't know.
Well, and for me, my surgery was, said, oh, 3 to 4 week recovery. But once they did the surgery, a 3 to 4 hour surgery ended up being 6. And they found a massive tumor attached to 3 organs. And thankfully, the
Mm,
tumor was benign, but it really put life into perspective of the real true risk of not prioritizing your own self care. Like,
right.
that physical self-care, getting your doctor's appointments, getting your annual exams, following up with a surgeon, being a healthy weight, getting your exercise in. All those things that create the healthiest version of you, it put it into perspective for me that there's a real risk if I don't prioritize myself, and it scared me.
I think too, with also knowing it was going to take 3 to 4 weeks to recover, that's a long time for you to step out of the role as a caregiver. And that's a lot when you manage caregiving to other people. So then I think that's part of that guilt that you were talking about, that you are giving up a lot, but
Well,
you need to because you need to take care of yourself, because then it could be even longer or a worse scenario.
absolutely. And for me also, I'm a caregiver to my kids, but I also feel a strong sense of responsibility to every student that comes to my college campus because
Not.
their parents are trusting me with their disability, that we're gonna advocate for them, that we're gonna support them, that we're gonna get those things, and I missed the first 4 weeks of school when they arrived. I had intakes over the summer, but I haven't seen them all back for the fall semester, all my returning students and all the incoming freshmen, because I had to prioritize this surgery, and I felt that guilt, and if it weren't for such amazing people I work with and the entire college really rallying to support our students, kinda gave me peace of mind that I could take that time off, and then I thought, I'll start checking emails in week 2, right? And granted, I flew my mom up, my 80-year-old mother, go we love Mama Donna. She
Yeah.
flew up and cooked meals and did laundry and, really took care of the house to help out, but I was like, "Oh, I can still check in at work," and I was so exhausted that 2nd week, I had to take my email off my phone after that. I really had to
Yeah.
focus on myself, and it was difficult, but it was also, like, I felt really proud of myself.
It's liberating.
It is! I'm 50 years old and finally learning to take care of myself. Yeah. So
Well, it's easy to say. How hard is it for you to sit back and just heal or take care of yourself? But when you've been a caregiver your entire adult existence, basically from college on, it's hard to reverse that role.
well, and I think too, when you're a caregiver to such sick kiddos, it's such an
Hmm.
extreme of caregiving and crisis, and, you if you didn't take care of those kids as diligently as we did, you know, they didn't survive certain things. They didn't get their nutrition,
Hmm.
didn't get to the appointments or get the infusions they need. So there was such a strong emphasis on survival and crisis for me. So my kids are becoming independent. I'm just realizing the impact that lack of care has had on my body now that I'm 50 years old, right? Like
Right, right.
weight gain, not prioritizing exercise at different parts of my life, not
Mm.
prioritizing my own health, and now I'm dealing with that ramification.
I'm 57 years old, um, but I still haven't even done my first colonoscopy. I know. And I have the forms. I'm supposed to just fax them over or whatever. I don't know
Hey,
what is stopping me from doing it.
well,
It's on my list all the time.
but what and it's like, it is that if someone told you Morgan needed a colonoscopy, when would you get it scheduled
Oh,
by?
she's already had, like, 4, and 2 of them just this last year. So, like, that's just is crazy. It's crazy, like,
That's a
that.
given, but why isn't
Yeah,
Janine a given? And that's what we kinda have to figure out for
right.
ourselves.
And
Like,
before it was more I didn't do it because I didn't wanna take the time off of work because I was a contract worker. I was always taking enough time off to take care of Morgan's appointments or the girls or Matthew. So you don't wanna take time off because then they'd be like, "Well, you're not really doing the job, or you're not here enough," and I don't ever want that.
well, and I think you bring up a great point. We've gotten in the habit of you save your vacation time for an emergency, for infusion days, for all those kids' procedures. So when you're in the habit for 2 decades prioritizing their health and that time off for their care, it's
Mhm.
really you have to break that cycle. And what can we do to help each other and other families to remember to do that earlier? I think,
Yeah.
I mean, we can get
Well, because
into
God forbid, you don't want it to become a mass or something that's debilitating that you could have prevented if you had just taken care of it 10 years prior or 5 years or 2 years prior.
self care goes a long way, and it just shows that we can all keep growing and learning how to better care for ourselves. Are there any ways that you learned that lesson of putting yourself as a priority and the importance of it? Or,
Well, other than the fact that I haven't done a colonoscopy, there's that. Then through the years, I've put on a lot of weight, and between menopause and, life, every year putting on more weight. I had went to the doctors, tried hormones, and no matter how much I exercised or what I ate, it didn't matter. So I decided to do the GLP-1, and it was a life changer for me. I lost 45.
It up off for how long?
It's been 2.5 years maybe. But I also made sure that I started running, and
I was
I
just about to say, you've
yeah,
really prioritized your health.
and I do Pilates. I'm doing everything because I know that if I kept putting on the weight, I wouldn't be able to get down on the floor with Morgan if I needed to, or be able to lift her. There's a lot of things that yes, she's ambulatory, but she still needs a lot of assistance. She needs daily care. I do all her showering, her feeding, all her daily care. So if I had kept getting larger and larger, it was not gonna be good for her. And then what if at some point anything happened with my husband? Who knows what happens over the next 10, 20 years that if I had kept getting larger and larger, I couldn't take care of them to the capacity that I would need to. It was important for me to lose weight.
Her main motivator was for
Was
d
for them
yeah.
to take care, yeah, to be able to take care and feel better. I didn't want to be tired anymore.
Well, and I think that's a huge point you bring up that I hadn't thought of because I don't have kids that are gonna be living at home long term,
Mm,
but you have major medical issues that you work with Morgan, even, like, while she's ambulatory, she uses a wheelchair, for long
mm,
distances, and you're the one who lifts it in the back of the
yep,
car
I'm
and
in and out of the
maneuvering it
car
in
and
and out. I mean, you if you don't take care of your health, you're right, that those tasks would be much harder, and
yeah.
so I just am so proud of you. You've been like an inspiration for me. I really look to
Mm,
you on how you take care of yourself and that you prioritize yourself with the little and the big. And that really has given me a life lesson on taking care of myself because not only do you run, but bitch, like places in her age bracket at Gasparilla, you were placing in your age bracket, which is huge. Like that's
oh,
insane. I
thanks.
can't run anymore because of
Yeah,
my
your
arthritis,
little
but
feeties.
my little feeties, but, you are just like and you're training in Florida, but you're just like a beast, like, that's
Well, this
awesome.
summer, it wasn't a beast. I was a lamb 'cause it was too hot. So now
Well,
I'm making up for it because I have a race in 6 weeks, I think.
I'm so
So,
excited.
a
You'll
little
have to
nervous.
I know our listeners are gonna have to watch our Instagram or TikTok page to see how you do. You'll have to share your results. I'm expecting another top
Well,
10.
no, no, because I'm doing it with Katie, and we're just
Oh,
gonna
you're gonna run
I
together?
think we're just gonna enjoy it because it's a Disney race, so we'll run what we can, take pictures. So I'll share my pictures, like, of all the characters and stuff that Katie and Katie's really into all the TikTok and social media stuff, so I'm sure she'll film and do this whole little cute
Well, she'll have to tag you so we can see some
yeah,
too.
because she always does these cute little montages of stuff that she does. It's so perfectly formed, and mine are not like that.
Well, hey, give yourself some credit. Yours are pretty darn good too, but,
I
I
try.
do agree our 20-something kiddos are much better at that social media than the
Well, it's second
50-something
nature.
mamas. Oh, yeah.
It's not
They can
second
work with
nature
it.
for us. We
Well,
struggle.
think we're on the struggle bus for sure on that one. When we're thinking about caregiving, as you're talking about social media and things like that, I think that our society too sometimes puts out there what Instagram self care ideas, like all those pretty things that we could be doing,
Mhm.
eye masks or luxury vacations.
Oh
Um,
gosh, wouldn't that be nice?
oh God, or a yoga retreat.
There's no money
Uh,
for that. I was
no,
like,
not when you're
when you're a
paying medical
caregiver
bills.
but that's it, when you're a caregiver and you have all these medical bills, you really have to be creative when it comes to self-care because money at different times of Morgan's life, money has been at highs and lows. And there were years we could do the family vacations. And then there were the couple years in between that we were lucky we were buying her medicine. So there's all those ebbs and flows. So it's really important to be able to find self care that you can be able to just do at home or go for a walk or take a journal out.
A
You have to be really creative
budget-friendly
sometimes.
one. Absolutely. Creativity is critical when we're working on a disability budget.
Yeah, yeah.
I was telling someone the other day, they were talking about family vacations, and I'm like, "I know this is sad to say, but it's very true in our house because our medical bills were so high." Um, our 3 main family vacations were Make-A-Wish trips.
Yeah.
And we had a week at the Don Cesar, and it's at the Pink Hotel in St.
Yeah.
Pete. We had a week there, but it was through an all children's thing, so they put us up there because it was
Mm,
for kids with immune deficiencies, and, um, so those were the ways we worked in family vacations, so we had to find more creative ways, like you were saying, to take care of ourselves. When the kids were little, I guess some of the self-care was just going to a friend's house, like your house, and putting our feet in the pool while the kids played, like, having
yeah, or
adult
sitting out front,
conversations.
letting the kids bike ride up and down the street, or we sat out in the front lawn.
Yeah, and we could just have adult conversation. So, now I think for self-care, John and I went for a walk this morning. It's beautiful out up here, it's like it was like 54, not
I'm
to
so
brag.
jealous.
I know, it's like not to rub it in the Florida
We're in the
people.
low 70s, so it's
Hey,
not bad.
that's
Like,
nice,
now it's probably 80, 90, but I did have a nice cool morning, so I'll take that as
nice,
a win.
right? Or, one of my favorites is Neely and I were talking this week, and she bought a coffee pod she really didn't like, and
Mm.
her self-care is to sit in the morning and have her fresh cup of coffee. I don't know if I corrupted her that way, but that's my self-care. Every
Yeah,
morning I
I
get
do
up,
that too.
I
There's
have my
something about a hot cup of coffee for me.
for me, it's before the house gets up. I'll get up, I'll feed the kitties, I'll have my coffee, and it's such a treasure to me to have that me time in the morning. I'll
Mhm.
scroll through TikToks or read the news or something, but, Neely was saying, "Hey, I just really hate it. It's ruining my coffee time in the morning." And I
Yep.
say, "Go buy new coffee." I'm
That's what I was
like,
gonna say. Did she run out and get new coffee and creamer?
"Yeah, well, I'm a sucker for a mom." I sent her $10 and said, "Go buy a new one."
I've noticed I've done it a lot in the last month because with Morgan, we've had a lot of new diagnoses, and so it's been a little bit more stressful, and I'm finding that in the afternoon, I'll sometimes run up to Starbucks and just get myself an afternoon coffee, which I normally don't do that, but there's just something about that that helps me calm and just breathe. I don't know
Ex
why.
Those little things really count. It's like little micro self-cares that we offer ourselves, you
Yeah.
know? Do you
Yeah,
have
or
any
like, I did do a big shopping trip this week, and I haven't been shopping, but I did go and get Halloween boo basket stuff for the kids, so I think that can be considered both coping and self-care, as long as you don't go crazy.
Exactly, exactly. I did that myself when Donna was here. I was able to be more active while she was here. She left Wednesday,
Mhm.
so Monday we went shopping, had to go to a little REI. I didn't buy anything there, I just did window shopping for my fall hiking. I think for me, shopping is coping, but when I do it
Mm.
with my mom or with you or a friend, that quality time where you're
Yeah.
laughing, looking at stuff, that's self-care to me. That
Yeah.
I need that people time. I'm a people person. So having these calls or recording this podcast, those are self-care to me. So
Mhm.
big or small, for
Yeah.
sure. And then one other thing I love is I love being outside in nature, especially up here with the weather so nice. But
Yeah.
I took my mom to a park on Tuesday. I still need naps by noon, but so we went in the morning. We went to this one park and it's got the ocean views and grass and a huge like estate where you can go. And we went out on the water and just stuck our feet in the water.
That's so nice.
I mean, it's free. It didn't cost us anything.
When I'm stressed about stuff with Morgan or I just need to step away, I just walk into the backyard, put my feet in the jacuzzi, and I look out at the lake. And to me,
Mm.
if I can just sit out there for a little bit, it just calms me.
It takes care of you. I remember one thing that I never really appreciated as much as my kids and my husband is listening to music. That one has become more of a self-care to me because I
Mhm.
find a connection now to music that I actually learned from Hallie, to be honest. I remember
Mm,
many times the kids have taught me lessons, but the big lesson for me was her last few months of life. And we had gone to neurology, and well, he talked straight to Hallie, and he talked to me too, but really focused on Hallie and said,
mhm,
Hallie, right now, we're doing everything we can, but there's nothing more my office can do. And at this point, it's going to be about your quality of life. And it may not be a quantity of life. Do you understand what I'm saying? And she was 14 at the time. And she goes, I want that quality of life. And he goes, I want it for you too. So we're going to reach out to palliative care or hospice. Do you know what that is? And she goes, yeah, my mom explained it to me. And she goes, are you good with that? She kind of just nodded at first and she just said, okay. And we got to the car and here I am, the counselor of the family. And she just sat there and I was like, how you doing, Hal? That was some heaviness. Do you wanna talk about it?" And she looked at me and she went, "No." She always signed no and said it at the same time. And she's like, "I just need my music." And she turned up her music and we listened to music and she saw Starbucks and she's like she just said, "Frappuccino?" And I went, "Yep." And we went in, got her a Frappuccino, and we rocked out to music, and then we were about a mile from the house, and she said, "I'm ready for this." She turned down the music and said, "I'm ready for this." And I was like, "Okay." As we're driving home, I said, "What do you wanna do when we get home? Like, you wanna have a nice dinner? Do you wanna talk to the family?" She goes, "I wanna have a dance party." I'm like, "What?" She goes, "Yeah." And she was taking care of herself. Like, she loved to
Mhm.
dance, she loved music, and she had come to terms with it was her time to, enter that phase of her life of dying. And she always knew how to take care of herself, and all during hospice, every day was a frappuccino and music and a dance party. So,
She definitely
I
knew what she needed.
she knew
Like,
what she
that's the
needed.
epitome of self-care and the awareness.
Well, and I think our kiddos with serious medical issues are maybe more in tune with their body at a younger age because
Mm,
they've had to understand why do I feel like this or something's off
mhm.
to alert us. And they have a different sense of self awareness at that younger age than I didn't get until my 40s and now 50. And
Yeah,
so I think when you have chronic illness, it does that to you. At least I know Hallie and my kids are learning that self-awareness is also needs to be attributed to taking care of yourself and finding what those little things are that help you.
yeah.
What are the different types of self-care? We've
Uh,
hit on a few, like broad category.
there's emotional,
Yeah, absolutely. Emotional,
there's physical, like running, you know?
absolutely. I think emotional is probably the one I do the most of. I vent to to you. I'm like,
See, and I
"Jenny,"
don't
or
think I'm it in that and I don't identify with the emotional as much.
really?
Mhm,
I it doesn't have to be venting, but just having that connection with somebody else, calling you on my way
mhm,
home from work, that's emotional to me. Like it's a
yeah.
human connection I need. Physical, you're that's a big one for you, don't you think?
Yeah, I think because when I'm feeling anxious, I've noticed recently, I feel like my emotions, I've been crankier and more snapping. I feel like
Oh.
I'm less tolerant. And then when I run, I feel like that pulls the anxiety out. It allows my body to release that energy, the
Hmm.
bad energy, and gives me good energy.
Yeah, that's a perfect example of how if we don't take care of ourselves, it can impact the people around us, right?
Yeah,
Because
because I do know when I start finding myself short or impatient with someone, I start to think a little bit more on it, and I'm like, "Maybe I'm just
right.
feeling the stress, and I just don't know how to release that stress," and that's how it's coming out.
Mhm.
So, if I go on a run or a walk or go to Pilates, that helps drain that negativity.
I was wondering for summer, did you rely more on Pilates then since you weren't able to run as much outside?
I go to Pilates probably 3 days a week. I But Pilates and running for me are 2 very different workouts.
Outlets, yeah.
Yeah, where running is just pure adrenaline and run. And I feel like it requires a lot of energy, and you think that whole time. I don't know about you, but my brain doesn't shut off when I'm running. So I feel like I can work through problems. I can work through solutions. I can work through creative ideas. I just feel like I get a lot from a mental standpoint from running.
It's interesting because for running for me, you were saying you can still process everything. I'll have a problem before going for a run, and then when I
Mhm.
run, I'm totally not thinking of anything. Like, I can just focus on the run, I focus on my breathing, it's like a disconnect,
You
but when I'm done with the run, the problem has a solution. I'm like, "Oh, here's how I
Oh.
can handle it." But it's almost like it's spinning in there somewhere, but I'm not really
It's
focused on
clearing
it.
it. It's almost
Yeah,
like it's clearing out all the
yeah,
static, and it's allowing you
static.
to
That's a great way of saying it, static. And that's what I miss about running. There's not a lot of other workouts I get that running gives me. I do find when I hike in elevation, like not just
Mhm,
hiking through the woods, but like really hiking elevation, that gives me the good workout where I feel accomplished and I feel like I've worked out that energy that the
mhm.
negativity have. And I think that's why I rely on it so much. Hiking is physical, it's emotional, it's mental, and it's spiritual because
Right.
it's out in nature. You hear water, you see wildlife. I saw deer on my hike this morning.
Yeah.
All these different types of things. And when that's taken away, the one self care thing that I do just for me, it's hard to,
Mhm.
I've gotta find some other ways to take care of myself. Some of those micro self-care things that
Yeah.
so we have
True.
emotional, physical. What about mental or spiritual? Are those anything that you work on for yourself or
I'm a big list maker. Instead of ruminating or me worrying and causing anxiety, I find that just doing short little lists or a list every day. I like to read a lot, so I don't know if reading would
that's a
be
good one.
mental, I guess, because it kind of lets me check out.
Absolutely. I actually just went and bought a book yesterday when I went to the store for myself, and I read the entire book yesterday. So
Was it good?
it was so good. So I really like that the author. But yeah, I sat all day and I'm like, okay, I can't help around the house, and I'm feeling guilty because I can't do
Yeah.
the vacuuming or the cleaning. And I'm getting that guilt coming in. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna get something for myself. I channeled my inner Janine and did something for
Yeah.
myself and got a book. It felt good to do that for myself. I'm sad that I'm 50 and haven't giving myself a gold star. Like, okay, Jill, you
Yeah.
did it. I
Well,
also
you
like
need to celebrate those small things.
absolutely. I
And
also like to listen to podcasts. Those are great ways for me. It's a self-care mechanism, whether it's a murder podcast.
I do like the murder ones. Yeah.
I do too, true crime. But I'm also into comedy. So I'll listen to Seth Meyers or
Yeah.
I'll listen to Smartless. Do you ever listen to that one?
Mm-mm. No.
Eh, but those are ways for me to take care of myself. And I love a commute to work because I can listen to a podcast and have some me time with my coffee.
Now, do you ever listen to podcasts when you're hiking?
Oh, this drives my family crazy. I listen to true crime podcasts while I'm hiking. I freak myself out sometimes. If I'm hiking, like, in New Hampshire, I'll look for a New Hampshire true crime
Oh
podcast.
gosh, so you really want, like, White Mountains, specifically serial killer.
Yeah, no, I won't go that bad, but I listen to this one in New England, they're serial killers or whatever, true crime in New England, and I'm like, "Why am I listening to this?" Dark Down East, that's what it is. So that's what kinda got me I kinda freaked myself out a little too much, so that's what got me into Smartless. I think I think for me, mentally, one of the other things I do is set boundaries. I'm trying
Mm,
as I age to learn to say no and what I can handle and what I can't handle because I
that's a
find
good one.
that's a huge one that has really given me peace of mind that I'm taking care of
It's hard
myself.
to say no because you feel like you're disappointing the other people, and then in the end, you're giving up too much of yourself at that point, if it's because it's beyond what you can do sometimes. So saying no and being able to reflect back on being able to say no is a
And
big
learning
thing.
and learning that balance because I have a job and I'm paid to do the job, but I still have to have boundaries of how much can I say yes to in
Right.
that job without stretching my role too much. So I
Mhm.
will say, look, I can come speak to a larger group on this platform, but I can't speak one on one, but I can offer open hours where people can come in and meet with me if they have
Right.
questions. So it's finding out those and learning to say no without that long explanation of why. Okay, who am I kidding? I always have a long explanation whether they like it or not.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and I think that's part of it too is that you shouldn't have to explain yourself. And you have to learn how to stop feeling like you have to explain why you're saying no. But I guess the first step for you is saying no. So that's a big improvement.
yes, saying no
But
is
I think you
huge.
also have to balance it with they don't need to know why you're saying no. They don't do they
That's the one
really
I'm
need?
and
Yeah.
that's the one I'm learning. Like, I wanna make I'm a people pleaser, so I wanna make everybody happy, but I'm learning because 'cause we're all a work in progress. It's okay to just say, I can't take that on right now."
Yeah.
That's enough.
Right, because that inadvertently is self-care because when you're
Yes.
overtaxing yourself, in turn, you need to be able to say no so that you can have more of time that you might need.
Absolutely, I hadn't even thought of it that way. That is self-care because,
Mhm.
my old self would normally say no, then give a long justification, then hold on to that guilt and
Yeah.
ruminate on that guilt. Now I've learned, okay, no, and it's okay. And if they really need something, they'll come back and tell me they really need it,
Yeah.
and I can try and give up something else to make that time. But yeah,
Or find
not
someone else to help them or find like another avenue, another path.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
I think one of the things that is big on self-care, and we've talked about this in previous episodes, but it really is so important, is asking for help, and think it's even more
Mhm.
important to address that on a big scale, but
Right.
just that one's really hard for me, like,
Oh,
just
I agree.
having this surgery and having my mother, who's 80 years old, doting on me and massaging my feet and bringing me meals and making sure I'm drinking. And I'm like, Mom, let me get you something. And she's like, No, I'm here for you. Like, listening to that. But there's so many ways that we can ask for help. I didn't do that very well in my early parenting years. Even in my later parenting years, the only people I relied on was my mom and John's mom. So I didn't
Yeah, for
like
us,
to
the
ask
same
for help.
way. We would rely on my mom for help because I couldn't leave just anyone with my kids, especially with Morgan. But it's hard to ask for help.
Why is that?
No, I think I think we've talked about it before is because our job is being their mom, and that's part of being a mom is taking care of them. So you feel like asking for help, maybe you feel like you're not being as good of a mom, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's that superwoman mentality where
You can do
I think we're
everything.
yeah, we're supposed to do everything, that's our role, but our kids aren't the norm, so
Right.
they're just special and unique and keep us on our toes.
Yeah, but I think that's one of the a big thing for self-help is acknowledging that we don't ask for help. So then now we need to try to turn that around and maybe ask for help more. Maybe that could be our little goal.
Well, your goal is the colonoscopy.
Well, that's true. Got to
You
bring
work
that
on
shit up again.
I love the puns.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's also do a goal that we ask for help in little ways, even if it's just calling someone to say, "Hey, can I vent to you? I'm having a rough day,"
Yeah.
or
Or even just saying to the kids, like, I don't need to be the only one that cleans the kitchen, puts the stuff away, empties the dishwasher. Even those things, for us, it's very natural to just do it because it's easier than asking for help. But
right.
in turn, I could be doing other things also that I need to do that I'm not doing because I just don't ask for the help to help lighten that load.
Absolutely. What
Mhm.
are some things that you wish someone told you earlier, in your caregiving role about self care?
I wish that I had been more aware of the toll that it takes on you mentally, coming up with ways to help with that. Like when the kids were younger, I did do a lot more crafting and I found times to do those things, and that made me happy. But I would be doing those at 10 o'clock at night and I wouldn't go to bed till like 1 or 2 in the morning because
That's your
that was
only
the
time to
only
do it.
time I had. That was me time. I wish I had found a better way to do all of that, like, to handle being able to still do things I love to do instead of making it at the end of the day. Maybe I could have found ways to incorporate that during the day with the kids or I don't know. What do you think you
For me, I think I wish someone had told me 2 things actually. One, that your physical health needs to be a priority because when you're down, everything else really suffers, just like you were sharing that example with
Right.
Morgan. But I didn't put my health as a priority, and I was a stress eater, and that gave me that dopamine kick I needed. And there were parts of parenthood where I really grasped my exercise and running and taking care of my physical health, um, but I didn't always prioritize going to the doctors and getting my annual exams and those things
Mhm.
that catch some of those big things if you're not careful. So I wish someone had really emphasized treat your body the way you're treating your children. You're taking great care of them, so take great care of yourself.
Yeah, basically,
Um,
like, put yourself on the schedule.
Yes, absolutely. That's a
Mhm.
perfect way to say it. And I wish someone had told me that the little things do matter. It doesn't have to be big,
Yeah.
fancy to count as self care or cost a lot of money, but getting up for that morning coffee or going for a walk outside in nature or
Yeah.
whatever it is, those little things really do make a long term difference on
Mhm.
your mental health and your physical health. And the human being that you're gonna be able to be there for your family in the long run.
That's good advice. I think everyone just needs to remember that you as a caregiver matter just as much as the people you're taking care of. And you need to take the time to set aside a time for yourself. In like
Absolutely.
you said, even if it's just something small, those little things, because those little moments might make all the difference. with your mental health.
Yeah, Janine, we're challenging you to take care of yourself and you're challenging me, but we're also challenging our listeners. Whether you're a caregiver of a child with chronic illness or disabilities, or you're a caregiver of your adult child or your parent, what is one thing you can do today? Just one thing, a small act of self care that you guys think you could do today, and share that with us. We'd love to hear some suggestions that we could share back with each other. And I think sometimes when I hear somebody share something, it gives me motivation to find new ways and creative ways to meet that need I have in my life.
Or they might even come up with something that we haven't even thought of. Over the next week, we'll put some social media out there. And this is what I do for self care. We can add it to another episode.
Absolutely. We're on TikTok, Instagram. You can send us a message. We'd love to feature some of your stories in a future episode.
Yeah. And if you feel encouraged, please share with another caregiver who you think could use a little love.
Absolutely. Until next time, take care of yourself.